สวัสดีครับผู้บัญชาการทุกท่าน Greetings Commander. Welcome to another video of Nikke Goddess of Victory. Let's start with voice check 1 and voice check 2. Alright, so we all know that the upcoming Nikke is going to be Nero, our cat Nikke, and her kit has been released today, so I'm gonna do a little bit of analysis of her kit. But before that, let's go and see what she's like and what she sounds like. So let's start with the Korean voice. Let's see, how does she sound like?
내 기분은 최고로 좋은 상태다냥.
Nyang. Yes, she says that. And apparently her weapon in Korean is, the name of the weapon is how the cats meow in Korea. The name of the weapon is nyaong. Funny to hear. And let's go for the Japanese version, the Japanese voice. Apparently she's being voiced by the same voice actress as Privity.
기분다냥.
기분다뇨?
사이코니 기분다냥.
Yes, and her weapon here name is called Nyan, like how the Japanese cat meow.
사이코니 기분다냥.
And for lastly, the English voice, which I don't really like that much. They really don't have that.
사이코니
That is the
기분다냥.
yes. And for the English voice, here she is.
Now I feel much better now.
What do you mean feel much better now?
I feel much better now.
The thing about the English voice is that there's not really that much pun going on for her meow, her nya voice. Right, and the burst animation I already showed you in the intro, and her movement in the intro. Let's see again if you might want to have a look.
I'm busy now.
She's busy now. As you can see, she has absolutely good jiggle physics, if you know what I mean. Look at that, look just how, whoa. And of course, the mean burst animation of
Goes down, all the cats come out to play.
the long cat. So let's go to her kit, shall we? So it's Nero from Happy Zoo, so the same squad as Biscuit, and in the future likely Leona. She's a defender burst 2 with a submachine gun called Fire. Her weapon called Meow Meow or Nyan or Meow depending on your language. Right, so what do we see here? So basically, let's go on her skill one by one. Skill 1 called Cat's Repayment. So it activates when recovery takes place. This is something that I'm quite confused a little bit about. There's some other possibility, but let's keep reading. So affects the target who applied the recovery effect. So that could be Rapunzel, that could be Pepper, Mary, Summer Mary, and let's say maybe Emma or Helm, and Blanc if that worked. And also that person will receive a damage taken reduced by 14% for 5 seconds. Just a little something on top. And this one activates when recovery takes effect. Affects self. So so she gets cat repayment, damage taken reduced by 8%, stacking up to 5 times, so up to around 40% something, 42%, which lasts for 5 seconds. Here, this whole thing as a whole, because it says cat's repayment, I'm not sure if it means that only when Nero gets healed. So basically, if you have a Rapunzel which heals 3 of the lowest HP Nikkes in your team, and if Nero is not part of those 3, maybe she won't be getting the buff. I'm not sure about that. It could mean that the whole squad, but because it says cat repayment, I'm leaning towards Nero getting the heal. So only testing could tell. Right, so the second skill 2, Lil Paw, says there's a 13% chance of activating when attack affects the target. So think of it as a counter attack. Think of it as a second skill of Scarlet, which is Satoichi. What does this skill do? So it makes the attacker receive extra damage for 8% for 5 seconds. 30% chance, and it goes with her burst skill, which is a taunt for 15 seconds. This might not be much, but 8% might not be much. And the second part, there's a 30% chance of activating within Grumpy Cat status. Grumpy Cat meaning her burst skill here. Grumpy Cat affects the target, deals 158% of final attack as damage. So this is basically just another Scarlet second skill. She gets a counter attack when she bursts, when people attack her when she's burst, when raptures, when Nikke's in PvP attack her when she's in her burst. It should be for within burst, 15 seconds, 16 seconds, I'm not sure. So Grumpy Cat status, so she'll get a 30% chance of activating just basically and counter attack, which is nice for a tank at least. And the last part, this is a skill with 3 parts. Wow, activate when entering the battle affects self. So it's here, she gets max HP up to 60% continuously without a time limit. So it's basically she just have 160% max HP right off the bat from the start. And that would be nice. As a tank, perhaps she might work well in PvP. I'm not sure if she's gonna work well in campaign in hard modes or not. She might help. She could be, probably, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Only time will tell, testing can tell. Next is burst skill, Grumpy Cat, which is nice considering it's a cooldown time of 20 seconds. Affects one enemy unit with the highest HP. This is the absolute state of power creeping. I'll explain later. Deals 1,100 damage of final attack as damage. As a defender, even Dollar doesn't do that much with her burst. Affects self, so she gets all taunt for 15 seconds. Around the same as our Ice Queen, our Snow Queen Ludmilla. And also this part, the last part, it activates when Cat's repayment is fully stacked. Affects self. She gets a 60% HP potency for 15 seconds, which means she gets healed much more by 60%. But this is the part where I feel very conflicted about. So it only happens if she uses her burst when she have her cat's repayment at fully stacked. Being fully stacked affects self. So how to get fully stacked? The stack lasts for 5. You can get 5 stacks, and the stacks only last for 5 seconds. So it means that she needs to be healed. She needs to be healed all the time until she gets the burst. And I don't think that is practical at all in the game. At all? Well, let's go see. Alright, let's see here. I'll try to explain why I think it doesn't fit or it doesn't really work. Let's see, how many healers in the game we get? I would assume the healer would be in the not the costume. The healer are gonna be in the support and defense. So we have Emma, and Emma would be healing only when she gets hit 5% of the time, and that's pretty much it. Or when she bursts, but we all know that her burst, well, burst lasts for 10 seconds, and for Nero, she needs you to be, she needs to get healed at least every 5 seconds again, so Emma doesn't work. Nobody else does a heal. Uni maybe, well, maybe Uni helps because nobody uses her. Uni's second skill, it activates when she is attacking with a full charge, and so you will restore 2.7 of your, so basically you get a 2.7% life steal every time she attacks with a full charge. And because you're basically leaving her to be an AI shooting, she will always give you this buff. So maybe Uni helped, I think, but why would you use a 2 burst 2 in your team? Nobody used that. So Pepper, okay, so Pepper might work for some like here, the first skill. So if you manual Pepper, she'll be healing every third shot, which will probably be less than 5 seconds, but she only heals the one with the least HP in your team. And Nero with her healing and her HP buff, very unlikely that she's gonna be the least HP on the team. Who else? Blanc. Well, Blanc will work because her heal, her second skill, works when she's activates after a full burst ends. You recover HP every 5 seconds. But why would you want to use another B2 when you already have Blanc on your team? Why? I don't really know. Freema might work as a first one because he has this when she attacks with a full charge and affects all allies, so she gets the max HP up for 6 for 4 seconds. Maybe you can work it like noise self-heal thing. Maybe she works, probably, but nobody really used Freema, which is pretty sad. And Mary is of course a no-go as well. She reloads 9 ammo and she only heal once, and her burst is also 40 seconds, which is a no-go as well. So Mary's gone, nobody else. And this is what I was talking about, absolute power creeping. As you can see, our Dollar at level 10 only attacks one unit with the highest defense with only 700% of her final attack. And that is the only part, except, you know, the second skill. The only skill which is damage and a delayed damage, while Nero gets a lot of stuff going on in her burst. Absolute power creeping, just you wait. No one else. Folk Wang I don't have. Maybe I thought she has a heal, but only works on the highest attack, which is not it's not Nero, of course. She's a taunt with a friend with the highest attack, which is totally not Nero. And who else? Soda doesn't work because her heals every 12 seconds. It heals every 12 seconds, see? With the cooldowns, and and Nero needs to be healed every 5 seconds, so that doesn't work. Biscuit doesn't heal anyone besides attackers and no supporters, and Nero is a defender. Right, doesn't help. Noise heal herself. Yeah, she only heals herself, while her burst actually healed everyone, but only lasts for 10 seconds, and after that you need to build up the gauge up within 5 seconds. Not really. Doesn't work for Noise. And Winter Shopper Rupee doesn't heal. Mary, people say that she might work with Mary, that there might be some synergy with her because of her first skill, and so she doesn't need to burst. She only needs to enter a full burst, and she will get a heal every 1 second for 5 seconds when entering a full burst. But full burst lasts for 10 seconds. And what next? When the 10 second ends, you're no longer getting the heal, and so you're not getting the full stack. You're not refreshing the stacks of cat repayment. So that part of the skill is gunk. Perhaps she might work, but I don't think that it's pulling out the full potential of Nero. for some reason. I don't know who's doing this, but Rapunzel might actually be the best candidate for this because of her first skill. She activates when she attacks with a full charge, and she heals the 3 allies with the lowest HP percentage. So Nero can be at 99 when the rest of the people are at 100%. And she will get a heal, and she heals when she full charges, which is of course always less than 5 seconds. But then again, if she gets healed all the time, maybe she won't be healed all the time because she's always at max HP. But Rapunzel would actually be one of the best candidates to have Nero burst work at its full potential. I think that is all the burst. Yeah, I don't think anybody else has the healing. Okay, Helm also doesn't work. It doesn't work because her burst gives you life steal for 10 seconds, which is all the duration of full burst, and after that you need to get the gauge up again. And any attackers? No, not at all. So I'm not quite sure how this part of the skill, I'm really not sure how this part of the skill is gonna be useful or being usable at all. Activate when Cat's repayment is at fully stacked, affect self. From the look of it, she might actually be a good PvP unit. That's all I can say for Nero. She's cute, yes. And people say, oh, it's finally our first cat girl. No, she's not our first cat girl. Our first cat girl is Anne. And one with the ear. Do you see? She has an ear. She has an ear, and the ear actually moves. And people are like, oh, it's not a real ear. It's just a hoodie. It's not just a hoodie because in her Christmas Anne, her ear actually moves. It's a hoodie with the ear on top. The ear on top. Alright, so that is all for now for the update on Nero skill and what I think of her. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Please change my mind on how well Nero is actually going to perform. Well, see you, Commander. I'll see you in the next video.